If I were to put this figure next to an original artwork figure by Union Creative, for example, they would be almost equals in that regard, yes. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with a scale figure review from a new figure brand. I believe this is literally their very first release. So we are looking at a Chinese brand called Model Way with their 1/6 scale Sister Ouko, which is an artwork by Biya. Yep, I have the 1/4 scale Yuna behind me that is also art by Biya. This is another one, and I'm starting to see the similarity in their faces. Like, the art style is the same, but this is 1/6 scale, officially retailing for 7,700 Japanese yen or around 270 Chinese yuan over in China. This figure came out way back in December 2024, by the way, both in Japan and also in China. However, the figure has been in my backlog for a while. Like, I couldn't put her in January because my January was pretty expensive. So she ended up in my February loot, and it is only by March I get to review her because of Wonder Festival and a bunch of events to cover. Now, this is a figure which has impressed me so much during my figure unboxing, during my figure haul video a couple of weeks back. And at 1/6 scale, this is quite a substantial figure in terms of the height. I actually forgot to measure over here. Right, the height is 29 centimeters, 29 cm, a pretty tall figure for 1/6 scale because, you know, anime girls, they are kind of short. And if Hot Toys and other Western brands are making 1/6 scale male character figures at 30 centimeters, yeah, this would be closer to 1/5.5 scale rather than 1/6. You see her legs are slightly bent or curved, right? So if she was standing upright, this would be a 30 centimeter figure. Yep. So at this asking price, another budget scale figure from a brand that is literally releasing their very first product, is it any good or not? Well, we will see. So firstly, regarding the box over here, double layer box, this is what her box looks like, non-windowed box. So I assume that this is a lot cheaper to manufacture because they don't need to use, they don't need a laser cut out and to use a separate material for the clear window, right? And this box over here fits inside this carton box, which is part of the packaging. So this is kind of a premium packaging for a low budget figure, and this is quite solid, by the way. Yeah, quite solid. No complaints over here for a budget figure in terms of packaging, and assembly was pretty much non-existent. You take the figure out from the box and plug it into the base, that is about it. So moving on to the sculpting department, this is where this figure is so outstanding for the asking price. If you told me this is a 20,000 yen figure coming from a Japanese brand, assuming that I knew nothing about this figure, I would have believed you. While this may not be the most detailed figure I have ever purchased or reviewed, if I were to put this figure next to an original artwork figure by Union Creative, for example, they would be almost equals in that regard, yes. And Union Creative figures, they are kind of big. Many of them are non-scale, but they are as big as 1/6 scales. So if I want to do a direct comparison against a Japanese brand, I think this figure would be, would be a nice comparison against brands like Union Creative. So with the sculpting department, the main focus over here is definitely her glorious backside, which I couldn't show you guys in a magnified view on camera, not on YouTube at least. But rest assured, if you love thick girls, this is definitely your kind of thing. If you love your girls thick, you need this figure, right? The sculpting is magnificent at this price point, and we have all these tiny folds behind her on her outfit, as well as the front over here, the cloth where she's holding. It is a simple pose, but executed to perfection. I'm quite happy with it. Moving on to the face part, I was raving about it during my figure haul video. Among the 3 low budget figures that I purchased for my February loot, this one is hands down the best one. So regardless of whether you're looking at her from the back over here or from the front, from the other side, her face looks really nice. So with the face sculpt on this figure, this is an easy 9 out of 10 at the bare minimum. Could be 9.5 even, right? The blush is there and the shading is there. Everything is exactly the same as what was being shown to us in the product photos during the pre-order stage. So we are off to an excellent start in terms of reputation building for these new brands that no one has ever heard of, right? Moving on to the paintwork. Once again, this is a low budget figure, but we do get a galore of shading and weathering on the paintwork. If you pay attention to her back over here, her bare back, her skin region, her butt region, you can see that her skin has this slight pinkish tone on it. And this is the kind of paintwork which we see very often in third-party resin figures. They love giving their skin a slight pink color tinge underneath it. So whether you will like this or not, that is purely subjective. Because, you know, some people prefer the skin tones on their figure to lean towards slightly more yellow. Some prefer it slightly more pinkish. That is subjective. After all, there are many different skin colors out there. And it works for this figure. It works really well. The surface of this figure feels relatively smooth. There are many low-budget figures out there which, when you slowly run a finger across the surface, they don't feel as refined because they used a cheaper coat, right? Assuming there is clear coating to protect her paintwork. But this figure is quite nice to the touch somehow. Her skin feels pretty smooth to the touch, right? Not the best I've touched before, but the better ones are 20,000-30,000 yen. And yes, I'm touching her backside because I want to. And then more shading on her outfit. So what I find really interesting over here is that they are trying to give us an impression as if her outfit is slightly translucent, like very thin cloth. So if you look carefully, yep, the white color outfits over here, there is a slight pink or skin color undertone, right? There's a slight shading over there, and it is very well executed over here. It does give the impression of very thin cloth in a way, and that is something I would not expect to see in a figure at this price point. Even on a stocking, you can see a lot of, skin tone, right? As if the stocking is being stretched really thin, very thin fabric. Very nicely executed over here. I have no complaints at all. So are there any QC issues at all? None. No paint bleeding, no scratches, no paint transfer, no ugly gaps or seam lines, no adhesive leaking out from two separate parts, none at all. And when I look at it this way, while this may not be as detailed as Prisma Wings' Tokisaki Kurumi figure from Dates Alive, which I just rented about a few days ago, I would say this is objectively the better figure, but this is under 8,000 yen, while Prisma Wings' figure was 50,000 yen. The last part, which is the base over here, obviously this is where they went really cheap. They gave us a clear plastic base. So I actually like clear plastic base like this a lot because for some reason they look better than a plain black or white color disc, right? Just that this kind of clear acrylic can be very easy to scratch if you're not careful. Like micro scratches can be quite common on materials like this. Not complaining on a figure as cheap as this one. You know, when Japanese brands, they showcase us a new prototype or a new figure on pre-order, they tend to display their figure in this obscure, transparent, round disc base, very similar to this one, and we never know what we are going to get until the figure actually comes out. But if they come up with low-budget scale figures, and they give those figures this exact base over here, I won't be complaining. Because this is so much better looking than literally every single pop-up weight base I've seen so far. So with my conclusion with today's figure review, this is a quick review. This is a short one because the figure is really good and there is nothing to discuss about. So whenever you see a figure review of mine going under 10 minutes in length, given how I often go into detail with anything, then you know that the figure is going to be a good one because, yeah, there is nothing to nitpick about. There's nothing to complain about that extends the length of the video. So Model Brain is off to an excellent start over here. Very positive first impression for their first figure release. I'm very happy about it. Are they actually a branch of an existing figure brand? I'm not too sure. But if you told me it is a branch of an existing, more famous and more expensive brand, I wouldn't be too surprised at this point because this is too good for a company that is making their first product. But who knows, because there are a lot of talented people over in China. You know, their population is huge, which means the talent pool is also pretty big. A matter of probability and statistics. Go and buy one as long as you like art by Biya, I mean. this is an excellent purchase for under 8,000 yen. And that is all I can say about this video, about this figure over here. I hope that you enjoyed this review and found it informative. And if you did, please do subscribe to this channel and check out my new content pretty much every week, sometimes at least twice a week I upload on this channel. So until then, thanks a lot for watching, and please do check out my Discord server. Please do join if you haven't done so. Check out my Patreon and other links down in the descriptions below, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.